I'm here at the Privacy and Youth Conference in Chicago, and this is Nathan Wright. He's the president of Lavaro, and I have a few questions from him because he presented a really interesting talk here. So let's see. We are here in Chicago attending the Privacy and Youth Conference. Nathan just delivered a wonderful presentation and an eye-opening presentation about different issues that we should be aware of. One of them is how our youth are figuring out. They are looking into ways of protecting their privacy in social media. And I was very impressed, I must say, with what Nathan presented. And I asked him to share with us a little bit more about how our teenagers, our youth, are looking into protecting their privacy on their own, and if we should participate in this, we should help them. Nathan, please tell us a little bit more about this.
Sure. So first of all, the word privacy to youth today, to teenagers, it really is not in their vocabulary, and that doesn't mean that they don't care about it. So what they care about is feeling safe, or a feeling of intimacy, or close-knit groups, or feeling in control of information, or in control of a situation, which is what you and I believe privacy is. But the word privacy itself is just not a part of their lexicon. So they're doing things that are interesting, how they navigate social networks. All teens are on Facebook, obviously, and they know that everybody's there. Mom's there, grandma's there, their cousins, all of their friends, and they're accepting most of those friend requests. So you'll see teenagers start to turn to other platforms like Twitter, for instance. They'll go there maybe to escape the drama of Facebook, and they'll friend each other, but they'll have private locked down accounts. They'll participate in inside jokes, so they can kind of still participate in Facebook, but avoid the drama and have a close-knit group over here. They're also good on Facebook at creating groups or lists. So they can have a family group of friends, and then when they post a status update, they can toggle on or off. Well, I want my family to see that. I don't want my family to see that, or coworkers or things like that. There's other interesting use cases, like on Facebook, called what Dana Boyd calls the super log off, where when someone logs out, they'll actually deactivate their account, meaning that they're not deleting everything, they're not deleting all the data, but they're logging off and then they're deactivating, meaning that if they are not logged into Facebook at any given time, no one can interact with them. No one can send them a message or post on their wall. So that's called the super log off. Then they log back in and they're online, but they're only on Facebook for those 3 hours or that 15 minutes. And that's the only chance people have to interact with them. So that's risk management. And what's interesting is teens are figuring that out on their own. So adults, grown-ups have not taught them that. They've learned it in a peer-to-peer fashion. Facebook hasn't taught them that. They've just kind of learned how to hack the system, how to game the system, if you will. Those that are kind of curious about those things. Others are interacting on Facebook with friends. They'll like a status, they'll post on a wall. 3 hours later, they'll come back and they'll delete all that activity. So they want their friends to know that they're interacting. They want their friends to see the like or the status update or the photo, but then they'll go back and they'll de-archive everything. They'll delete that content. So not all of teens do that. Those are just various examples of how a lot of them are navigating the space. And it's kind of like a to each their own thing. They all have their own definition of privacy and how they go about it.
Should we be looking into perhaps sharing this sort of techniques with our teenagers at libraries, or do you have any tips for librarians?
I don't know if there should be an authority telling them about how to do that, other than common sense. I think it's good for adults, grown-ups, parents, guardians, librarians, teachers to preach common sense, but I don't think they should get into the specific technology itself, like the super log-off example, because I think that's an individual choice, and I don't think one's better than the other. It comes down to that individual and what they want to do. And also, just because Facebook changes overnight, the technology and the privacy settings change overnight. So if you're trying to teach them one thing, tomorrow it's going to be different in terms of the settings, the privacy settings. So I think you got to stay broad, common sense, understand how this stuff impacts your future. Google archives everything. If you're going to hunt for a job, people are going to look you up on Facebook, these sorts of things.
Well, thank you so much for these minutes, and it was great again to listen to your talk. And I'm sure we'll see you again at one of our conferences.
Thank you.